Hey, welcome everybody. My name's Tony Barnette. This is my YouTube channel. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. It's a brand new channel where we talk about creative leadership in the modern context. And today we're going to talk specifically about how to choose your YouTube name. So about 2 years ago, my wife and I created a YouTube channel all around going on cruises. We're still fairly small considering we're growing every day and we're making content every day. But I wish I'd had this piece of advice before we started 2 years ago. So first, let me break it down to you. Our YouTube channel name is Lido, L-I-D-O, Loca, Lido, Loca. Just rolls off the tongue, right? So we get asked a lot, what does that name mean, where it comes from? Well, the name actually is a combination of two languages. La and Loca is Spanish, Lido is Italian. Lido is the Italian word for beach. And on a cruise ship, a lot of times they'll call the deck where the pool is the Lido deck. We were fascinated by that after our first cruise. And then of course, La and Loca is the crazy. So it's the crazy beach. It screams a cruising channel, right? That's the first tip that I want to give you. When you go to make the name of your YouTube channel, you have two options. You can try to make it a personal brand, right? This channel here is called Tony Barnette. And so the idea is that over time, you will get to know who Tony Barnette is. And that way you can make a connection with me and my content. Or you can establish a new brand that has something to do with the niche that you are creating content in. So when we first started our channel, before we went on our first cruise, we snagged the YouTube name 22 Postcards. So the thinking behind 22 Postcards is postcards, that's like travel, and cruising's like travel, and 22 is my favorite number. So a great name for a cruising channel would be 22 Postcards, right? The problem is we were trying to make a cruising channel, which is a sub-niche of the travel niche, and the words travel and cruise were nowhere in the title. So then we go on our cruise, we fall in love with the concept of the Lido deck, we do some brainstorming, we come up with La Lido Loca. It's catchy, it sounds like the Ricky Martin song La Vida Loca, and we think, okay, we're on a better track. But again, I'll say what I just said, we're a cruising channel, the sub-niche of cruising, in the travel niche, and our name doesn't say cruise or travel. So you may be asking, what's a big deal? La Lido Loca sounds like a cool name. Look, I do like La Lido Loca. The challenge is when somebody goes to search for cruising or somebody goes to search for travel, they're going to use the word cruising and travel. And so as a little channel with no subscribers or little subscribers, the chance of the words La Lido Loca showing up in YouTube, which is one of the largest search engines on the globe, is very slim. If I wanted people to find my cruising content, I probably should have used the word cruise. So it's been an uphill climb to get name recognition for La Lido Loca. Now, 2 years into it, the cool thing is if you go and Google La Lido Loca now, we're the only people that show up. So we have very limited competition. But in the beginning, it was almost impossible to show up in search when you type the keywords cruise. I don't know if we still show up when you type the keyword cruise. I know we show up if you type La Lido Loca. So the takeaway from this first tip is you want to choose a name that is related to the keywords that might be used in searching. So if you're making a brand new cruising channel, maybe type the word cruise in the search engine. The cool thing about the search engine on YouTube is if you type the first word, it will pre-populate the words after it. And basically that's showing you the most frequently used keywords that people search for videos for. And one of the main goals for making videos, at least putting them on YouTube, is for people to find them and watch them. So it's a good strategy to use those keywords as part of your channel name. I'm going to give a great example. We are friends with Sherry at Cruise Tips TV. She's one of the biggest creators in the cruise sub niche. And check out that name, Cruise Tips TV. Cruise is a keyword. Cruise Tips is a keyword. Tips is a keyword. And then over the years that she's had her channel, now that she's made this brand, then that's a search word. So Cruise Tips TV is a search word. So that's a great example. La Lido Loca, a challenged example, lesson learned. Cruise Tips TV, a great example of a channel name. So you've narrowed down a name that you like, it has some keywords that are connected with your niche, or you're gonna go hardcore and try to brand your name. The next thing that you wanna do is you wanna make sure that you can pick up those names in a domain and then in the relevant social media. The world is much bigger than just YouTube, and at the end of the day, at some point, you wanna have a website, you wanna have an Instagram presence, you wanna have a Facebook presence. This is important. You wanna get the same name on all of your social media. That way it's so much easier to market. So Lido, Loca, we have that across the board on social media. I couldn't imagine if I had 3 of those: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, but like on Twitter, I had to be Lido, Loca dash the real deal thing. It's so much easier that all of those things are in a row. So step 1, brainstorm a name that is inside the niche that you're hoping to target. Number 2, make sure that you can use that name across all of the social media that you want. And tip number 3, and this one's overlooked a lot, make sure that you can actually say the name. We say Lido, Loca in almost every video. And so if it's an impossible name to say that doesn't quite roll off the tongue and that you can't kind of train other people to understand because it's too hard to say, then maybe it's not the right name for you. So learn from my challenges. Lido, Loca, and getting people to learn how to say Lido, Loca is a process. And so again, Cruise Tips TV, a lot easier to learn to say than Lido, Loca, just as an example from the sub niche that I'm in. All right, so just to put a bow on it, here's the homework. Number 1, find a name that's got searchable keywords in it. Number 2, make sure that you can get the name that you've settled on across all the social media platforms and also a domain that ends in a .com. And number 3, make sure that you've come up with a phrase that easily rolls off the tongue that people can say without too much effort. This is going to help your branding journey. And I get it, this may not seem like anything in the beginning, but as time goes on and you're trying to expose the content that you're making to more people, you want to position yourself in a way so that it's much easier for people to know who you are, to happen upon you because of search, and then be able to say your name when they're talking about your video to their friend or when they're recommending you. Or even trying to find you, right? Say you know Lido, Loca, but you don't know how to spell it, and you go into YouTube and you can't find it. Trust me. Work on a name that hits all 3 of those, and I think you'll be on a great start for your YouTube channel. The question for the comments is this: what are some of your tips for picking out a YouTube name? Do you have any regrets? Do you have any stories around the name that you have? Maybe type the YouTube name that you have and what your motivation was for it. Let's continue the conversation below. Thanks for stopping by. This is Tony Barnette. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Stop back by for more YouTube tips. Come on back for the next video. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we'll have a new one for you. And until the next time, I'll talk to you then.